This evening, fatal collision claims lives of 2 teens on Montrose Public Road. $40 million housing program launch for 10 vulnerable families in Warapoka. Young couple found dead after shooting incident in Long Creek. In the region, Ecuador presidential debate. Crime in focus after candidate's assassination. And internationally, climate change in Pakistan. Melting glaciers threatens millions. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 14, 2023. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a security manager attached to BK Security lost his life today after he lost control of the vehicle he was driving and it hit into a light post and turned turtle on the Le Reservoir Public Road on the east coast of Demerara. The dead man has been identified as Michael Boscombe. His brother was in the vehicle at the time of the incident and received injuries. Authorities swiftly responded to the scene and police cordoned off the area as they investigated the circumstances of the incident. Headline News will bring you more details in a subsequent report. A 26-year-old man and his girlfriend were found dead this morning following a shooting incident at Long Creek, Suicide Linden Highway. The bodies of Ajay Budhan and his girlfriend Ashley Singh were found dead with gunshot wounds this morning at a farm at Long Creek on the Suicide Linden Highway. According to reports, workers discovered the couple dead when they showed up for work this morning. It is believed that the incident occurred between Sunday night into Monday morning. The police have launched an investigation, and Headline News will bring you more details in a subsequent report. In a heartbreaking incident that unfolded late last night on the Montrose Public Road, tragedy struck as 2 young lives were tragically cut short in a car accident. Dale Jarvis has more details.
2 19-year-old teenagers, Michael Pierre and Daniel Durant, tragically lost their lives in a fatal accident on Montrose Public Road, East Coast Demerara, late last evening. Dead are Michael Pierre of Hope South, Enmore, and Daniel Durant of C4 Street, Campbellville, Georgetown. The incident occurred around 10:45 p.m. on Sunday, August 13th, and involved 3 vehicles: motorcar PAC 2396, driven by Mahindra Nankishore, motorcar PYY 9392, owned and driven by Michael Pierre and Daniel Durant as a passenger, and motorcar PAC 734, driven by John Moore and Renison Adams as an occupant. Preliminary investigations revealed that the car driven by Pierre was traveling west at a high speed along the southern carriageway. While negotiating a right bend, Pierre lost control, causing the car to cross into the northern carriageway and collide with the other vehicles, both heading in the opposite direction. Tragically, Pierre and Durant did not survive the collision. They were pronounced dead upon arrival at the Georgetown Public Hospital. The other occupants and drivers involved in the accident are receiving medical treatment. Public-spirited individuals at the scene helped transport all those involved to the hospital. Police are investigating the incident to determine the exact circumstances that led to the devastating accident. This tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of safe driving practices and the need for road caution. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. We tell you of more tragedy during the early hours of Saturday morning as a boat capsized in the Essequibo River, leading to the heartbreaking loss of 3 young lives. The victims included a 12-year-old Linda Joseph, a student of I Shelton Secondary School, a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old. The boat was carrying 10 passengers, including the children and their parents, and cargo consisting of 72 sacks of cement and 3 gasoline drums. The boat, a 35-foot wooden vessel powered by a 30-horsepower outboard engine, was en route from Parabara village to Massacanary village when the tragedy struck. According to reports, the boat captain, Joseph Aye, explained that while traveling around 3 a.m., the boat collided with a rock, causing it to capsize and throwing all the passengers and cargo into the river. Aye and 6 other passengers managed to swim safely, but the 3 children were unable to survive the ordeal and drowned in the process. Disturbingly, the children's bodies were later found with partial damage caused by piranhas in the vicinity of Piri Piri. Joseph Yahweh was the captain at the time of the incident. He is also the father of 2 of the victims. The 12-year-old Linda Joseph's parents were also on board the boat when the tragedy occurred. The incident prompted a police investigation into the alleged drowning, seeking to ascertain the circumstances surrounding the capsizing of the boat and the tragic loss of these young lives. The children's body were subsequently laid to rest in Massacanary Village, with plans for their exhumation later. Stick around when we return. Government launches $40 million housing program for 10 vulnerable families in Warapoka. An 18-year-old forklift operator fatally stabbed in violent street brawl in Leopold Street.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness, or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boiling high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. We tell you now that 10 vulnerable families in Warapoka, Maruka Sub-District, Region 1, will receive new homes totaling $40 million under the government's Hinterland Housing program. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell announced this during a visit to the community. The Village Council will initiate a selection process through a village-wide voting procedure. Minister Crowell prioritized those in urgent need, including the elderly and single mothers, to ensure transparency and accountability. The 20 by 25-foot homes will be elevated structures with 4 rooms, washroom facilities, and a veranda. Each unit will feature a water trestle and a rainwater harvesting tank. The homes will be provided at no cost to the beneficiaries. The Central Housing and Planning Authority will cover the payment for 2 skilled workers per unit, while beneficiaries will contribute the remaining labor. Minister Crowell stated that this initiative fulfills the administration's commitment to improving citizens' quality of life by offering affordable housing solutions. He assured the community that development would reach them regardless of their village's location. Additionally, Minister Kroll announced that the village would receive a new well funded through the 2024 national budget. Around 100 families in Region 1 are anticipated to receive homes through the Hinterland Housing program, each costing $4 million. The villages for this initiative have been identified, and the selection of beneficiaries is currently in progress. In other news, tragedy struck on Saturday night at Leopold Street when an 18-year-old forklift operator was killed in a violent brawl. Police are investigating the alleged murder of Noel Fraser, called Nunu, of Leopold Street, Working Rust, Georgetown, by a 25-year-old minor of Leopold Street and also from Tuckville. Reports said that the incident occurred around 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. During a brawl involving Fraser and the suspect and others, the 25-year-old suspect allegedly stabbed the victim during a fight, after which he made good his escape. Fraser was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital by relatives, where he died while receiving medical attention. Several persons were questioned, and police are trying to locate the suspect and the other persons involved in the fatal altercation. Investigations are in progress. Don't go away after the break. Hawaii wildfires. Governor warns more bodies likely to be found. And climate change in Pakistan. Melting glaciers threaten millions.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poised cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, fried spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca-Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Ecuadorian presidential candidates talked tough about battling crimes during a televised debate on Sunday. An empty podium marked where assassinated candidate Fernando Villavicencio would have stood. Al Jazeera's Lucia Newman has more.
Ecuador's final televised debate began with a minute of silence for the candidate who was assassinated last week.
We want to express our condolences to the family of Fernando Villavicencio for his absence.
Fellow journalist Cristian Zurita has been chosen to replace Villavicencio on the ballot, but not in time to meet the legal requirements to take part in the debate. Fernando Villavicencio's election campaign centered on the fight against corruption and organized crime. With his killing, the remaining candidates will now have to use this last presidential debate to try to convince voters that they too are serious about ending violence in Ecuador. Jean Topic, a wealthy security entrepreneur, is a trained sniper and former member of the French Foreign Legion. He vowed to crush criminals with an iron fist.
I will impose a zero-tolerance policy for crime. We will regain control of our borders and reintegrate our intelligence services.
Economist Daniel Noboa wore a flak jacket, and they all promised to target organized crime. But leading candidate Luisa González soon became the main target. The left-wing candidate represents exiled former President Rafael Correa, who was tried and found guilty of corruption in absentia.
Weren't the $1.5 billion that were wasted during your government enough?
Many accused the Correa government and by association González of having persecuted opponents.
We will strengthen the security forces, but not prosecute our critics.
González reminded voters of the Correa government's social programs and years of relative stability.
When Otto Sonnenholzer reduced the budget by $3 billion, that's when the violence began.
But many voters had been hoping to hear from Villavicencio's replacement and were disappointed with the debate, especially the nearly 40% who remain undecided. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Quito, Ecuador.
Internationally, the devastating wildfires in Hawaii are now the worst the United States has seen in over a century. At least 93 people have died, and the death toll may rise as about 1,000 people are still missing. Questions are being raised about the initial emergency response. The survivors say they did not get enough time or warning. Al Jazeera's Shahib Ratansi reports.
People are searching for families in emergency shelters, and search teams are scouring debris to look for human remains to begin the process of identifying bodies. Thousands of people have lost their homes and livelihoods. The historic town of Lahaina is all but destroyed. Residents say they are coping with unimaginable loss.
It's been so hard, very hard. Never, I think, in my life would I have imagined that we would have something like this, a catastrophe of an unequal disaster.
Questions are being raised about why sirens weren't activated on the island when the fires broke out, as Shihab Ratansi reports from Maui.
Saturday was the first time cadaver dogs were used to search through the ashes and rubble of Lahaina in search of human remains. Buildings were marked with a bright orange X when they were searched, and with the letters HR when human remains were found. The police chief said it was a slow process.
Just so you know, 3%, that's what's been searched with the dogs, 3%. We got 12 more dogs on the way today. We just made that, I made that request, FEMA made that happen, they're on their way. But think about how hot and how humid it is, and we can only go as fast as that animal can go. So we're bringing in more.
Once again, officials deflected questions on whether more could have been done to prepare for such a ferocious fire and whether warnings should have been issued before the flames engulfed the town.
There's a lot of energy you can spend on this tragedy right now. I think that time should be spent on recovery and rebuilding.
But it's now clear that reports have been issued since 2014 specifically about Lahaina's increasing vulnerability to wildfires. Not only that, authorities were alerted in 2020 about the possibility of the winds associated with a hurricane located hundreds of kilometers away from Hawaii acting as a catalyst for fire here. For a second day, plans to allow residents of Lahaina back in to assess the damage for themselves were subject to changes and confusion.
These are our belongings. This is what we were able to grab.
Lahaina resident Skip Scott said extra restrictions were imposed after some of those who'd made it back on Friday had entered devastated areas that authorities had cordoned off, desperate to see what was left.
There were a lot of residents that just wanted to see if their house was still standing and just to assess what they're going to do next. I mean, a lot of us are trying to make tough decisions, and whether or not your house is still standing or not is a big factor in that.
But it's these areas that are thought to contain yet more dead, and still over 1,000 residents remain missing. Shia Bertansi, Al Jazeera, Maui.
And finally, scientists are warning glaciers in the Himalayas are melting at unprecedented rates. They say they could lose up to 75% of their volume by the end of the century, and that could lead to dangerous flooding and water shortages for nearly 2 billion people downstream. Al Jazeera's Kamal Haider reports.
Northern Pakistan is home to some of the world's highest mountain peaks. It is rugged territory with little land for cultivation. Environmental experts are warning of a potential threat because of climate change.
Especially here in Pakistan, the glaciers are so huge, the phenomenon is so important that the quantity of water which is being produced by the melting certainly creates unwanted effects such as flooding, landslides, which affect the population.
Besides tourism, Pakistanis have to carve out a living, often by growing cherries and apricots, watered by plentiful supply of fresh water from the melting glaciers. They also provide a lifeline for everyone and bring fertile soil for cultivation. The glaciers also act as giant mirrors to reflect solar heat to help keep the earth cool. Because of climate change, the glaciers are melting at an unprecedented rate, and that means dangerous floods and water shortages for tens of millions of people across Pakistan. For many here, climate change is an existential threat. The village of Hosseini is in the direct path of a nearby glacier, and its inhabitants worry it may wipe out everything.
The glacier was far away but has moved closer, and we fear it may burst. What will we do? We don't have any other place to go to. We have already lost hundreds of trees and crops, and chunks of our land has been swept away. At night, we hear loud sounds from the glacier, and it's scary.
Glaciers like these and others around the world have already shrunk, and many more may be gone entirely soon. The question is, will countries around the world take the threat seriously and act to cut greenhouse gas emissions, or look the other way while the last remaining glaciers in these mountains disappear? Kamal Haider, Al Jazeera, Gilgit-Baltistan.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's 50B2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.